Hello everyone, welcome back. So here we have our Tishbon that you see in the background. Lately I've been wanting to figure out how to light all of these buildings because it's also supposed to be portable and movable. So the option of putting in little lamps, the traditional types that go in there was not something I could do because I'd have to leave them mounted, and this stays behind a door, so we don't want it to break off and things happen to the lanterns, or the light bulbs crack and then there's glass all over the floor. So what I settled on was an LED fiber light kit for the interior roof liners of cars. So we're going to unbox that today, and we're going to try it out and see how it works. Now this particular one has 16 watts of 16 watts of LED going into fiber optic cables, which are supposed to light up the inside of the thing. There are 300 different cables that are 0.04 or almost 3/4 of a millimeter thick. So hopefully if I put a few of them within each house, that should light them up, but we're going to find out how that works. So we'll unbox that. I got a couple of the houses out, one of which is the train station you'll see in the background there. That has 3 separate holes in the bottom of it. I'll turn that upside down for you. And most of these do have different types of different places to put in the light bulbs. This one doesn't have any sort of hole because it's newer. This one is actually one of the few plastic pieces that are on the layout. And here we have something a little bit different, but they're all a little different on the inside. So I thought I'd try and see what we can do. So here we go. Here's the unboxing. Got a remote control. Now this does have options because it is a headliner kit for cars that you can change the colors and have a strobe and all kinds of different things on it. But that's not what we're going to do. We're just going to leave it on white light, and you can adjust the brightness here or there, turn it off and on. It also has a Bluetooth app that you can use your phone with. Here's the actual unit. There's the AC wall mount. This, if you were going to use it as a headliner to put it in your car, you can plug it into your cigarette lighter, or I guess somehow attach it directly to the car power output. There is an instruction manual, which you can use the QR code, and it shows you how to get everything in there. There's a couple of pages in there, plus some description on how to use different things on your phone. And then here's a fiber optic cable. So there are 3 meters in length and 300 separate little cords. I'll plug that in for you in a second here, and we'll see how that lights up. I researched a few other questions I had regarding this to see if it would make sense to use tape to cover, or to use paint to paint the fiber optic cords all the way to where they end, to see if that would help light transmission. Evidently it does not, and it's a physical property of the cable itself that the light has to go through and bounce off the edges of the cable itself to maintain a certain amount of brightness. Now, I did also find out that the shorter the cable is, the brighter it will be at the end point, which I will be cutting these down a lot, as I have 9 feet of cable, and my layout is maybe 3x4, 3x5. So a lot of this will be cut down from the source. It won't go that far. As I mentioned before, there's a light deflector in here. So I also thought, you know what if we take that away, if that would increase the brightness? Because as you can see, some of this is always being blocked. So I took the 4 screws out, and it appears all I have to do is take these 2 out, and then we can remove that. So we got everything plugged in. This is the unit. You see the lights are on. I press the on button, so it's powered. I don't have the light actually on at the moment, but I've removed that little gate that you saw earlier, and that came out with just 2 screws, which is right here. So that should give us a little more power on the light. There is a screw on the collar. I don't know if you can see that very well. It's right there, and it uses a Phillips head. So that's what helps keep this attached. We'll get that screwed in. This will be attached. 2 cups of coffee today. Got my hands are a little shaky. All right, so now we're attached. And let's give her a whirl, turn it on, and you see it lights up. So at the end, here are the 300 separate little fiber optic cables. So they are quite bright, as you can see, and this is already at 3 meters in length. Now we're back to installation. So I've discovered a few things while I was working on this. We'll start off with this. So I have, this is a pin vise with a little drill bit. I figured I'd run that through my tabletop here, and the thing is, it's made out of cardboard. So there's 2 pieces of cardboard with corrugation in between, which makes it very difficult to thread the fiber optic cables through that little hole that was generated by this. So what I ended up doing was using a larger diameter. I'm using about a 1/4 of an inch drill, and just used a plastic drinking straw. I cut off about 1 inch and put that down through there. Then I fed my cables up in, and I used a little piece of tape to hold them there. So now that we're at that point, we'll turn them on. And there you have your light. And let's see what happens when we put our different types of housing over it. First one is a little shop. Mr. Spitaler made this. I'm not sure what year it's from, but it's very nice and goes with the period. So we'll put that inside. I'll get a lower shot for you so that you see exactly what we're doing here. First house, let's see what happens. I've got about 10 strands inside. It does light up quite nice. Now I've also discovered that based on the height of how far you have the fiber optics sticking out of the layout, it's also going to increase or decrease the amount of light that you see. So for this one, I don't want them very high, obviously, because I have 2 stories, but most of the windows are on the bottom layer. So I'll adjust the height for that. We'll come back and try another house. So here's the butcher. I don't think this one's going to light as well because the paper is quite thick that decorates the windows in the storefront. So we'll see what happens. I may have to add more fiber optic cables into this one to get brighter. So here we go, going on. It's very faint. So I know that this one will have to have some more cables coming through, but that's okay. Next is the freight depot. It lights up quite nice. So I think the Ceylon, or whatever it is that Fowler and Spitaler used back in the 50s and 60s, is going to light up real nice on the rest of the layout. We're at the track side of our train station. So she lights up as well. You can also notice that it goes up to the top floor. So that should do very well. We'll try another one of the portals in the station, as there are 3. Let's see what happens on this side. I think it looks all right. And one more portal on the station is going to be the front of the street side. The street side of the train station. Pay attention to the little light above the doorway. That actually lights up as well. Might have to put a few more cables in. But very nice. I think it's going to be a great alternative to the old-fashioned incandescent lights. A lot safer, and it probably half the price of what it would cost me to light up 30 buildings on this layout. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. So the next video will be hopefully the entire layout done and lit. We'll see how that goes. It's going to take me a while, obviously, because I need to trim the ends and get everything measured and put the holes in the proper place on the layout. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you consider this as part of your layout if you decide to go light something. It's definitely a cheaper alternative, although I do love the incandescent bulbs, and I will be using those on my main layout. But for a portable one, I think this is a great ticket to use. You'll be able to fasten the fiber optics with just a piece of tape to the bottom of your layout, feed them up through a little bit of a drinking straw like I did earlier, or whatever you need, whatever you find works best for you. But I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate any comments and any thought and feedback that you have. I look forward to seeing you once this thing is complete. Have a great day. Bye.